Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with the next video in the beta series. Today we are going to dig into this clutch and see if we can figure out what the heck was going on. I've seen a lot of your guys' comments on the video, and I've heard lots of folks just talking to them about these clutches. Everyone says that the clutches are just noisy. That's the way they go. I figured there's got to be something we can do about it. I'm kind of thinking it has a little bit to do with the fact that it's got this style slave cylinder over here that must be pushing in. Anyway, it's doing something different than a normal clutch. So in this video, we're going to dig in there, see if we can find out what's going on, why it's making that sound, and then maybe fix it here on the video. I don't know. We might have to order parts. We'll see. But we'll also show you why this is different. And by why this is different, just how it's different. I don't know why Beta would build this, if I'm honest. So it doesn't make much sense, except for whatever, they're engineers. I don't know. Anyway, got to start by taking the skid plate off, getting this brake pedal out of the way, draining the oil, and then we're going to pull the small clutch cover off and hopefully see something that maybe we can upgrade or do to get rid of that sound, because everybody seems to think that it's okay and normal, and a couple of you have had 2 or 3 of these bikes and never really had like a failure or anything like that. So that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. But it's just annoying to hear. So hopefully we can figure something out. Well, that's good. The oil looks good coming out of there. So whatever that sound the clutch is making, it's not doing, doesn't seem like it's doing any damage to the oil, which is awesome. So it doesn't seem like the brake pedal wants to come out of the plunger, which is fine. That's now out of the way. We can now take this off, I guess. So this is interesting. I've never had one of these 200 covers off, so we're learning here together. So I guess if I don't want to have to bleed the clutch, I'm just going to leave this attached, leave the banjo bolt on here, pull this off, and then I'll bring you guys in to take a look at the mechanism, see how it works, and then hopefully just like hang it out of the way, I guess. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Just like a normal slave cylinder, it's pushing, which is good. If you guys have ever seen the Magura jack clutch, or anyway, the one that you can put onto a YZ, it's set up so it's still pulling. I mean, it has to push fluid, obviously. I mean, it's the way fluid works. You can't pull, well, you can't pull, you know what I mean. Anyway, so it is pushing like a normal thing. It's going to be pushing this, in, and it's pushing on this. So this is, I think, this might have to do with why the clutch makes the noise that it does, because this is like a mini bike clutch. I don't know how else to describe it. It's compressed, it's engaged like this, and then you push in and it pushes the hub in, which is interesting. So yeah, it pushes the hub in to open up the clutch, to disengage the clutch, and that pulls it back out. Let's take this thing apart. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I have a feeling that is why this thing makes noise, is instead of pushing a pressure plate like on a normal clutch, this pressure plate gets pushed out from the other side, things slip by, and then it re-engages. And I think just by the nature of this clutch being the way it is, since it's pushing the hub inboard and then coming back out, that's why it's making that noise. But let's take it apart and see if we can figure something out. The spring, hold on. We're thinking. I may be off that way. Yeah. All right, guys, so this is weird, but I'm pretty sure we're right. So this piece does not move inside. It's just pushing against here. Get this out of the way. Which is pushing on here. These springs. So this is the hub. You see? and the pressure plate is this, and it's held onto the crank. Yeah, I'm sure that's the crank comes all the way through. So these springs push against the pressure plate, and then when they squeeze on this plate, it pulls this tight, right? And then when you squeeze the clutch, pushes in, opens the inner hub up. If you want to call that the inner hub, I mean, we're gonna keep going here. You could probably call things different things because of the way they're set up, but that's how I see it. In my mind, that's the inner hub, because that would be the inner hub on a normal bike, but maybe it's called the pressure plate in this situation. But I'm also noticing it doesn't look like there's that many plates. So let's get this thing apart and really dig in. So they have some gnarly green Loctite and Nord-Lock washers, which I learned about because of you guys, or a Nord-Lock washer, just one. That's actually interesting. Seems like you need two. I thought you need two anyway. Hang on, gotta put you guys down. So those are interesting, guys. I've never seen this before. It's like a steel band, I guess, to keep it from wanting to kind of flail open, which is, never seen that. That's interesting. And here's the system. So like I said, it's pushing in on that to let things. That is so weird. So this is a pressure plate, but it keys in, and then this is technically, so this would be technically the pressure plate, and this is the inner hub. So it's not moving the inner hub. But I think, guys, the mechanism is just the reason it makes the sound. Like, since it's pushing on this, which does have to key in, I'm wondering if man, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why Beta would do this, honestly. I really don't get why they would do it. It just doesn't make any sense because their 300s or 250s, everything else has a slave on the other side. The way they have the left side of that motor built, it doesn't really leave room for a slave because the counter shaft is so close to the main shaft. That's interesting. So I don't know. That doesn't, I don't know. I don't like it. Let's count plates here. So it's got 7 and 6. So that's less plates than the big bikes have, which I'm assuming they're going with just based on less torque. You need less friction to make it hook up. But I honestly wonder if we could get another plate in there. So if we could thin these out so that we could stack another steel and another friction, so we'd go 7 and 8, 7 steels, 8 frictions. I wonder if they would maybe work better. I have a feeling that the combination of less discs and this mechanism is what is causing this thing to make this kind of noise. So I don't know that there's anything that we can do to fix it. I'm gonna think on this here. We'll be right back.
A few moments later.
All right, guys, so I'm looking at this thing. It's interesting. This has to key in correctly. There's a little mark here and a mark right there. Those have to line up. Otherwise, this doesn't key into the hub. So it's just so weird because this is, the thing on the outside is the hub, but the thing on the inside is the pressure plate. But, you know, other ones, they do have to line up kind of right, but they have, I don't know, it's a little bit easier. Also, it seems like if you get this out just a little bit and you can move it, and it's under, it doesn't want to quite line up. It does. It goes together like that. You see that? Hold on. Like that. So I'm thinking just this mechanism, there's probably not a lot you can do to make this thing any better, but you know what? Garrett, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna fiddle with this and I'm gonna see if we can't make this better. I have an idea. So each one of these things has to go into, I'm gonna take all the plates off so it's easier to see. So they have to go into these grooves, and I can see, so this is why it has to line up. So you can see, there we go, focus. So if you get it off, it can be off a little bit and slide in. And I'm thinking that when this gets hot and you're really getting on it, it might kind of hit and not want to go in, causing that thing to slip for just a second. It's just a split second, but it makes that weird noise. So I have an idea. Garrett, I'll buy you a new one of these if I foul it up. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a file and I'm going to put a chamfer on every one of those little things so that even when it's out, it goes right in. It can't, so it's going to, like I said, this is going to be chamfered. It's not really, yeah, I know, it's kind of rounded a little bit. It's not chamfered. I'm going to chamfer each one so that when it's out, it like when it drops in, hang on, it'll line up even better. Like, because I see that kind of hang up like that just for a second. So if this screws this thing up, we'll buy Garrett a new one. Got our little file. We're basically gonna go in here and this is gonna take forever, so I'm not gonna even film it and put it in time lapse, but I'm gonna put just a little bit of an angle here and I'll show you when we're done.
A few moments later.
All right, guys. I don't know if you can tell, but I put a chamfer on every one of those. And you can see these little marks out here. It's because I took a polishing wheel, like with all the little bristles, and I kind of went in here and hit all that to kind of polish them up. I'll get this clean. I'm going to try to resurface that a little bit better. This may have messed the whole thing up anyway and have to buy a new one, but even that I don't think is going to be a problem because this is what's riding on it. And maybe this first one would wear out a little bit faster with those, you know, a little bit of scratches. You can't even feel them, but they're not perfect. So anyway, I think this feels way better. It doesn't want to hang up. Feel like it's going to be good, guys. I don't know. Let's go install it, pour oil back in it, and let's go fire it up and just see if we can beat on it and make it make noise. All right, guys, we've got the beta all put back together. Got my helmet camera on. Gonna go test this thing out. It's gonna take quite a bit of heating up before we can see if the clutch is gonna do it. But let's go do it. I think, fingers crossed, I got it fixed. Guys, we're just gonna putt around, kind of use the clutch, just keep the clutch kind of slipping all the time to get it hopefully warmed up a little faster. Right through these rocks a little bit. Dragging the brake there, generate a bunch of heat. Yeah, we're getting that sucker hot now. Guys, we might have fixed it. That sucker's hot. Way hotter than the motor, and I think I can smell it. Alright guys, let me know if you heard anything I got this silly helmet, I can't hear much, but I don't think I heard that clutch make that noise at all. And it's hot, like, it is hot, super hot. Way hotter than the motor or the water. So, I don't know, we might have fixed it. Make sure you subscribe, guys. That's gonna be the end of this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we are definitely gonna take it back out for another big ride and get it in some harder stuff, some more gnarly kind of stuff. It's a little snowy and wet around here, so it might be a little bit, but make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit your notifications if you're a beta guy or girl, and you've got a 200 and you've been struggling with the whole clutch thing, because I think we might have fixed it, and I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. Thanks, guys. I hope you get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, and as always, I hope what we're doing is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!